Buhari had a cabal in ASO Rock that bypassed directives, says former Chief of Staff Gambari. Good day, my dear listeners. Yet I bring to you another interesting news. Thanks for joining. And this news states that Buhari, the late former president of Nigeria, has cabal in ASO Rock. So, my dear listeners, moving on to the full details. Kindly please ensure you subscribe to this channel, and share. Former Chief of Staff to ex-President Muhammadu Buhari, Prof. Ibrahim Aduola Gambari, has confirmed the existence of a cabal in ASO Rock during the Buhari presidency, describing it as a recurring feature in every Nigerian administration. Speaking on inside sources on Channels Television, the seasoned diplomat and scholar made stunning disclosures about the inner workings of Muhammadu Buhari's government, the real influence of the so-called cabal, and the institutional weaknesses that allowed critical decisions to be hijacked or bypassed. There was a cabal in ASO Rock during Buhari's administration. Just like in every other administration, Gambari said, some may call them a kitchen cabinet, others call them a think tank. Obasanjo also had a group of people like that. It is the nature of the office of the president. Every president has a circle of people, both within and outside government, that they confide in and listen to freely. Though some are more powerful than others, every government has them, he said. But with Buhari, they knew their limits. Gambari, who served as Chief of Staff between 2020 and 2023, emphasized that although such informal power blocks exist in all government, Buhari's cabal was peculiar. He disclosed that some members wielded unusual influence, even managing to circumvent official channels despite Buhari's directives. When I was appointed as Chief of Staff, the President made it clear that every memo must pass through my office. Even the Vice President complied. Yet, some people still found ways to bypass the process. They knew the weak point, who to use, and he never stopped them, he said. The former UN Under-Secretary General did not mention names. Still, his comments corroborate long-standing allegations that Buhari's presidency was hijacked by a shadowy clique, often blamed for controversial decisions and opacity in governance. Insiders and political analysts have often pointed finger at individuals close to Buhari, including members of his extended family and powerful aides accused of running a parallel government. These speculations peaked during the late stages of his presidency, when ministers, lawmakers, and even governors complained about limited access to the president. Gambari, however, stated that while the cabal existed, Buhari remained in charge selectively. When some memos came back to me and we talked about certain decisions, he would immediately change some, but for others he would say, "Prof, let this go." Just to protect me, he reviewed. My dear listeners, now we've come to the end of our today's news. And now before I go, it didn't start during Buhari's regime. We know that different administrations have cabals, and that is the reason why they have a different appointment. That is that when we have a new president, he has a new chief of staff, he has a new chief of army staff, chief of IGP, and all that. So those are the cabals. And in the administrations too, in office, there are a lot of cabals too. So it didn't start during Buhari's regime. It has started ever since the existence of Nigeria, and that is the Nigerian we find ourselves today.